busiest booth of E3, as usual, we're finding Alex. Alex, this interview may be very loud. If you cannot hear me, let me know. Okay, how's E3 going for you?
It's loud, as you said. So far it's loud, it's intense, it's exploding. Less neck stabbing than a few years ago, but that's all right. We managed to get one last bit in with a pen.
Well, no neck stabbings, but a lot of elephants, it seems.
A lot of elephants. Yeah, Far Cry, I mean, obviously it's all about the animals and doing what you want in the open world. So our game director, Pat Mette, early on decided weaponizing elephants was the future.
How drunk was he at the time?
I think he's perpetually drunk, so a solid buzz. I think that's where he was.
Obviously a huge reaction to this. Now, just a question. This obviously was revealed before E3, prior to E3. I mean, this would have went down so huge. I mean, it went down so huge as a reveal at E3. Did you guys make a conscious effort just to let people know about it coming up to E3?
Well, it wasn't. I mean, we only had that one image that sort of popped out there before E3. So I think they just wanted something to accompany the announcement, via an earnings call. So I think they wanted to be a little bit more about the game than just that. So it was cool, but. The plan was always to have a big E3, so start out with, who are you, who's the antagonist, where are you, so that was the Ubisoft conference, then go into some gameplay and reveal the fact that you can invite your best friend along for the ride at the Sony show, and now, the most rare beast of all at an E3, you can actually play it. So on the booth, real human beings are playing it, so hopefully no one can call our bluff.
All right, well, talk about one of those points, actually. As you said during the Sony conference, you can invite a friend on, but even if they don't have a copy of the game. So we've spent the last couple of nights talking, how is this possible? So my question to you, how is this possible?
Yeah, so we know, especially in a franchise, that once we were going to put in the game and make a big feature out of it, we needed to get people to try it. And in a big franchise, especially going on for a while, there's people who love you and people who've decided they know about it and they're not interested anymore. So we're like, what is the best way to get this game into people's hands? Because we believe in it, we think it's fun. So we had this idea called Keys for Kyrat, where basically when you buy a copy of the game on a Sony platform, you can give those keys to your buddies, and when you're online, they can play with you. So it's very simple. You just have to download the client, and while your buddy's online, he can invite you into their game. You can ride elephants, fly around on choppers, take outposts, clear the world as part of his single-player experience. But then, unfortunately, when he jumps offline, you have to make a decision. Do you stump up the cash, or do you let it go? So hopefully you'll have a good enough time to give us a chance.
So it's a one-off download, and it's not even limited to, say, a certain mission or something like that. They can just free range with you?
Yeah, pretty much. So we basically wanted to, it's actually really more technically complex to restrict, and part of the fun is do what you want, so it seemed counter to what we're trying to achieve with the game to restrict it. So we're do whatever you want. There'll probably be a time cap on it. But we're still sort of figuring out how much that is, but it'll be forgiving and large enough to give you a big taste.
Let's talk about that location. Let's talk how that impacts Far Cry gameplay, because it's all about the elevation, it's all about the verticality. I'm assuming we're not going to spend all the time just going up, going down. How's it working? How are you looking at that world and implementing it in Far Cry 4?
Yeah, so obviously we showed the most extreme environments as part of the show. You want to show a big delta and you want to surprise people. And there are plenty of cliffs and plenty of mountains. Kyrat, this time is more of a valley than an island. So it's surrounded by impassable mountains, but there's lots of mountain ranges in between those walls. So yeah, you are spending a lot of time going up and down, but there's still forests and lakes and river streams and all that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of more traditional navigation as well.
And we saw the wingsuit as well, which is phenomenal. Again, another transversal object. Are you guys approaching that to give you players as much opportunity as possible just to float about?
Yeah, so it's a weird one because we have gliders as well, and then we have the grapple to pull yourself up, and we have lots of different ways of traversing the environment. The buzzer, so you can fly around a gyrocopter. So it's weird to introduce them so that people use them and then allow them to either choose between the two or use a more efficient means. So early on you'll have the gliders. We'll introduce a grapple pretty quickly. It'll take a little while for the wingsuit and the buzzer, but it'll still be pretty early.
So during the presentation we heard 3 words, which was "you are fucked," right? And from the gameplay demo that opened up the Ubisoft conference, "fucked up" comes into mind. Have you guys approached it with the idea because Vaz was such an iconic figure, an antagonist for Far Cry 3? Was it just like a sort of thing, we need to do this then, but we need to make it even weirder, even more fucked up?
Yeah, I know, like that, a bit of Dan Hay there coming in with the fucked up. It's I think definitely there's a desire on the team to make sure we're not a gray and brown military shooter. Yeah. So we're one of the few shooters that can be a little bit more exotic and a little bit more outlandish. So there's definitely an urge to take some risks and do something different. Yeah. And we just wanted a character that was fresh. So for me, the most important thing wasn't that he was crazy, and we don't actually see him as insane. We see him as just so out of touch through wealth and power that he doesn't even operate in the same sort of universe as the rest of us. But I wanted someone who, and the cutscene's playing behind you, but who would invite you into his world and want to be your buddy. You know, he wasn't like waving his fist at you and threatening to kill you. You know, I played that game 100 times. So the most important thing is make someone memorable and give you a different feeling, give you that bit of like, he says, you know, we're going to tear shit up. And you're like, okay, I hope.
Does he know your character, or is it inferred that he's just come across us and he's just took a shine to you?
No, there's history there, and it's hard to get into it without dealing with spoilers, but we wanted, again, for you to be the player. You were born in Kyrat, so you're from this country, but you were raised overseas, and now you're coming back. So the place, lots of the people in the place know of you or about you, but you don't know much about them. So again, we wanted that feeling of fish out of water, but still like a high school reunion where some guy's telling you about the party you went to 20 years ago, and you're like, I have no memory of this evening at all.
I blacked out completely all the way through. But is that an easier sell, I guess, than perhaps the way Far Cry 3 was pitched, where it's tourist becomes tribal warrior?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, it was sort of, you know, I'm Australian, and everyone in Australia pretty much who's gone on a holiday has gone through Southeast Asia. You know, and there's some dangerous spots in there, and if you're on the wrong bus and you head the wrong direction, there's always that slight element of fear. And so we was extrapolating on that idea of if you're on a holiday and you take a few wrong turns and things spiral out of control and you just choose to stay, what would happen? So it's really a relatively simple frame and trying to get you know, some surprises and twists in there.
Just hearing in the background your favorite song.
Oh, this is only playing every 8 minutes while I stand here for 3 days.
I know you've timed that, right?
I'm feeling it right now. There's a twitch in my left eye. It's hard to. I need to
see it. I can see it. With Far Cry 4, okay, with Far Cry 3 even, basically the exploration, getting outposts, getting to view the land, doing missions, similar sort of structure overarching with Far Cry 4, or are you guys approaching it in a different way?
Yeah, it's hard because, you know, when you get success, there's sort of two fails. One is do it exactly the same, and one is change everything, right? They're both. So we're trying to find those areas which we want to keep, and that is definitely one of them. The idea that the world is dotted with these pockets of challenge, you know, little where, you know, you can approach in 360 degrees and do what you want and figure it out yourself. They're a lot of fun, so we want to keep the structure of that, but we want to make sure that it's a unique challenge, and we've taken it up a notch. So on the booth, you can play what we're calling a fortress outpost. So there's a few of those in the world that usually when you first stumble across them are going to kick your ass. You know, so you need to get in there. You probably died a few times if you played it.
I have to admit, I died within 10 seconds.
There you go. And you can ride, you know, like they're locked up and you need to charge through the gate on an elephant, or take a buzzer and come over the wall, or, you know, and it's still stealth or action, but we wanted a different challenge. So there's a bunch of those things that we've iterated on, and then all the new stuff, new vehicles, new weapons, bring your buddy along for the ride, all that sort of stuff.
Is the game coming out this year?
I think my job is on the line. So like, yeah, we're in November on every platform known to man, so it'll be good.
I mean, how are you guys doing? I mean, like I said, this came out of nowhere, and expectation was, well, given everything else is 2015, but it's out this year. So have you guys been tinkering away at this for a long time? What's been the gestation period, development time for this?
Yeah, well, like it's coming up. It'll be 2 years by the time we ship, so it's a good, healthy dev cycle when you already have a game that's solid. So 80% of the team probably rolled straight on from Far Cry 3. I rolled off Assassin's Creed 3, and then we were working on something on the side for a little while, and then, you know, I was spending a lot of time drinking beer with Dan Hay, and he told me I was going to get fucked, and then suddenly I was on Far Cry 4.
Oh, that's weird. That's a lovely transition right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more question for you, and this is perhaps the most important question in the world right now. Far Cry 4, Blood Dragon 2.
So yeah, we always get asked about that, and I think the only consistent fact for Far Cry stuff is we keep trying to surprise people. So I'm sure we'll come up with something. It may not be that, probably not that, but in fact, if we did that, that wouldn't be very surprising. So I think it'll be something outlandish.
Listen, thank you very much indeed. Get away
from the song. I'm gonna run as soon as this is over.
Don't worry about a thing, my boy. This will soon be behind us, and we'll be off on a grand adventure. Because I have cleared my calendar for you. You and I are gonna tear shit up!
Should I stay or should I go?